Hey everybody, Tyler Tamerlane doing his usual obscurities and miniatures. Today I dug out, because I was trying to clean up things for once, an old Wild West Exodus figure from the second Outlaw Miniatures Kickstarter when they were first getting these new figures. This is Procopio from the Golden Army, which later become the Caballeros y Cazadores for the new War Cradle faction. I'm not sure what faction he's in anymore. I know there was well, he was part of the Golden Army faction originally, and then he became part of Pancho Villa's bunch, and I don't know if that was ever released, but he is a cool looking hombre, and he was the ideal character I had in mind for making a bandito for Shadows of Brimstone. But considering how many Wild West Exodus figures I've got, I mean, at this point, we could probably just paint up half the line. Now, I've known James Whippell, but I'll at least give it a shot. So anyway, this is Prosopio. I believe he's still available in the Classics version from War Cradle. He is an older figure, obviously, because I forgot I had him for quite some time. But he is one of the few characters that actually comes with a special custom scenic base, which I thought was a nice touch. Looking at what's supposed to actually go there. Ah, yeah, I thought so. He was supposed to have a cactus, so you can see there by his foot. I don't know if War Cradle has changed the gates on their casting process, but I am not looking forward to trying to trim this off. I mean, look at those things. Ooh. But you know what? We're going to give it the old college try and see what happens here. So he's a pretty basic looking figure, not too many parts, but given my penchant for gluing either myself together or things on wrongly or not gluing things together at all, this is going to be a fun challenge. So hopefully things will go well because it looks like a pretty simple build. Let's see if it actually is though. Okay, we are back with a finished Prosopio. Ta-da. Now he's not actually glued onto his base and he definitely needs a bit of work still, but I thought we'd take a look at him. Growing up in a predominantly Mexican-American area of Southern California, I've always had a fondness for the, Pancho Villa, Zapatista kind of outlaw bandit look. So this guy is quite a cool-looking hombre here. Very detailed, which is the case with just about every Wild West Exodus figure. The only issues I had, and like I said, he's going to need some cleanup, was this section of his coat here. It just did not want to fit together well. His hands didn't either. You can see there's a little gap there that's going to need some refitting and filling. His gun was a little bit uncooperative, but the rest of them seem to go together pretty well. Now, obviously, I'm going to need some cleanup up on his hat as well. That's not a big deal. Fits pretty reasonably well on his base. Although, now this is not a Wild West Exodus base. Wild West Exodus bases are quite large. You can get a good look at just how big. I'm not sure why the Shadows of Brimstone. Oh, that's right. This is going to give you guys a good look at how he would stack up with other Shadows of Brimstone figures. Sorry. So if you were, interested in possibly using him as a stand-in proxy model for your own bandito, I think this guy would be a pretty good choice, unless you wanted to go with Pancho Villa with the chain gun. So here's an actual Wild West Exodus typical human, Marshall Base Reeves, and here's our Shadows of Brimstone guy. Now again, as I've mentioned many times, these are a lot larger than typical Warhammer figures, just in terms of height as well as in terms of base. And it doesn't help that this guy also has an extra custom resin scenic topper that goes on top of everything as well. Overall, very cool sculpt. May not look as hand-to-hand focused as a bandito in Shadows of Brimstone, but he's definitely armed and ready. The mix of tech and modified Wild West wear, I think, does make for a good veteran character in Shadows of Brimstone. I'm not sure what this guy's current status is in Wild West Exodus. I haven't seen much out of the Golden Army sculpts. I know they did release the hired hands as the Caballeros and Cazadores. But outside of that, I'm not sure what's really gone on. I know there was a set with looked like a nun and a bunch of the Golden Army Conquistadores types. So I don't know. I think he's a cool looking figure. Very reminiscent of the Mexican-American, stuff going on at the border. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it looks very old-timey, very bandito, very high-tech looking gun. I'm rambling at this point, but that's because it's getting late and I haven't had much sleep. So I'm going to go to bed and bid you all a fond farewell and hopefully get this guy cleaned up and started painting soon. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamerlane doing his usual obscurities and miniatures and saying adios.